Hi, I am going to walk through Nicole's nerdyknots.com's Oddish pattern. You'll need a G hook, which is a 4.25 millimeter hook. You'll need blue yarn, green yarn, black yarn, stuffing, and a yarn needle. So in this pattern, it works with the basic chain, single crochet, increase, decrease, half double crochet, back loop only, magic ring, slip stitch, and a fasten off. So let's go ahead and get started. He's pretty simple. He's only one page worth of instructions. I'm going to be using Colonial Blue 3159 carrion for my body. So for the head, it says do a magic ring with 6. So that's going to be 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So what I do is I take my string, put it over the palm of my hand, wrap it around 3 fingers, come around, make sure it crosses, and then I take my hook on the original, I bring up the back and pull it through. Let's do that again. String, 3 fingers. I'm gonna cross it so that way my new string's in the back, my original string's in the front. Put my crochet hook under, bring that back one forward so I have a little loop, and then I'm going to hook my string and pull it through. So we now have a magic ring. So now we need to create 6 single crochets in that magic ring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook under the circle, grab my string that I'm working with, and then I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to take my string, wrap it around my hook, so now I have 3, and I'm going to bring that last string through both loops. So that's 1 single crochet. And then I'm going to do the same. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and let me do the 6th one a little bit slower. Take my hook, bring it behind, grab my string in the center. So now I have 2, now I have 3, take my 3rd string all the way through. So that is our 6 single crochet on the magic ring. So that's round number 1. And then I pull that little beginning string tight so it forms a nice circle. So we're working in a round, so now we're going to do round number 2. We're going to increase the round. So what that means is we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch and following around. So I take my hook, put it in both loops, wrap the string around, pull it through. So now I'm going to have 2 strings, wrap a hook, and then pull it through. That's 1 single crochet. Gonna do another one in that same stitch, and there's your first increase. So if you have a stitch marker, this would be a good time to put that stitch marker in that very first, I don't know if you can see it very well, the very first one, so that way you know where the beginning round is. So, or if you're pretty savvy, you can go ahead and count your stitches. So there's going to be a total of 12 in this round, and we're on number 2. We're going into the next stitch, and we're going to do an increase, which is again 2 single crochets. So now we're at 4. And keep going around until you get to 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now we're back at the beginning again. So round number 3 says single crochet and then an increase. So in this row we're going to have a total of 18 crochets. So we're going to go ahead and do a single. That's just putting 1 in there. And now we're going to go 2 because it's an increase. So now we're at 3 stitches. We're going to go ahead and put another one. Only 1 in there. That's 4. And then we're going to put 2, 5, 6. Keep going around. Single, 7. 2 singles for an increase. 8, 9. 1 single. 10. 2. 11. 12. 1. 13. 2. 14. 15. 1. 16. 2. 17. And 18. So now we're back at the beginning again. So you can see we're forming a circle, which will be the top of the ball that we're creating for Oddish. So we're on round number 4. We're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase, which makes a total of 24 stitches. So what that means is in the first stitch we're going to put 1. Second one we're going to put 1. That's our 2 single crochets. Now we're going to do an increase. So now we need to put 2 in the next. So that's 3, 4. Now we put 1. That's 5. 1 more. 6. Now 2. 7. 8. Now 2. Or 1, I mean. 9. 1. 10. 2. 11. 12. 1. 13. 1. 14. 2. 15. 16. 1. 17. 1. 18. 2. 19. 20. 1. 21. 1. 22. And then we're going to go ahead and put 2 for 23 and 24. So now we're at the beginning again. So rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, all we're going to do is put a crochet around, which is a total of 24 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that was round number 5. And I got a little knot in my yarn, so I'm going to have to undo it. So that's round number 5. We have to do that one more time, or 2 more times here. So I'm going to meet you back up after I finish up round number 8. Alright, I'm actually on round number 8 and I haven't done it yet, but I want to let you know it's starting to curve. So it's, all I do is when it gets like this, I just kind of pop it around to make it a little easier to work with. Now you can see I've added a stitch marker to make things a little easier so I don't necessarily have to count my stitch. But if you look closely, you're going to see round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're going to work on round number 8. So I took my stitch marker out, sorry, it's in my mouth. I'm going to do my first stitch. And this is on my round number 8. So I'm going to take my stitch marker and place it underneath those 2 loops. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish up my round number 8. I'm still a new crocheter. I taught myself through YouTube channels as well. So if I can help you, I definitely want to. So I'm not the fastest crocheter, so if I'm going too slow, I apologize. But for those who are still learning like me, this is definitely, I'm hoping I'm not going too fast. And I have now finished round number 8. So round number 9 says we have to single crochet twice and then decrease around, which is going to give us a total of 18 stitches. So we're going to take a few of those stitches away to kind of form the ball shape. So I'm going to take my hook out, or not my hook, but my stitch marker, excuse me. So that way I can start in the first stitch. And I have to do 2 single crochets. So 1 single crochet, putting my stitch marker back in, 2 crochets. Now the decrease, so if you've never done a decrease before, what you'll do is you'll put your hook in the first hole, grab your yarn through, put your hook through the next hole, grab the yarn through, so you're going to have 3 loops, then you're going to wrap it and pull it through all 3 loops. So that's a decrease. And then we just continue to go around with 2 single crochets and a decrease. 1 single crochet, 2 crochet, and decrease. 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, and ending on a decrease. So that is round number 9. So round number 10 is we single crochet and then decrease, leaving a total of 12 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet, put my stitch marker in, and then we're going to decrease, single crochet, decrease, which again is putting the loop through, grabbing a string, putting it through another loop, grabbing a string, and wrap and pull through all 3. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease. It might get a little bit harder to work with because there's a little bit less room up at the top, but you'll get used to it once you start crocheting more projects. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, and ending on a decrease. And that is round 10. So round 11, what we're going to do is we're going to do a decrease all the way around. So you can see we've already pretty much got it into a ball shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and decrease all the way around. So I'm going to take my stitch marker, put my hook in, grab, put my hook in, grab, wrap, and pull through all three. That's one decrease. Put my stitch marker back so I know where my beginning of my row is. We're going to go ahead and decrease all the way around. Oops. One hook, two, okay, we got two, three, four, five, and our last decrease. So you're going to see we're left with a little hole at the bottom. We're going to use that hole for stuffing. So bear with me if you don't mind. I will be back in a few. I just got to go get the stuffing. Alright, so I'm back. So what I brought actually as well are my safety eyes. So you can use safety eyes, and this would be a good time to put them on now if you're going to use them. So here's the eye. And basically what you would do, bear with me here, I don't want them all to spill, is you would find where you want to position it, poke it through one of the stitch holes. So you've got it like that, and then kind of just flip it out, inside out a little bit so you can see the post. And you take the backing that comes with them and just slide that on and push down. But I'm not going to use safety eyes. So let me take that off. So I'm going to cut my tail. But I'm going to leave a little bit of room for finishing off. Gotta get my hook, I just dropped it. Alright, sorry about that. I am back, so I'm going to get my hook here and put it back in there where I had left off. And one of my stitches came undone, so let me redo it. It's the last decrease in the row. And decrease. So since we're finishing off, I'm going to take the stitch marker out, and I'm going to just kind of put it in that first stitch and wrap, bring it through, and then just kind of pull it through that last one and kind of tighten it up here. So I'm going to take the tail from where we began. It's because it's kind of hanging out, and just going to tuck it in. So here is the body of our little Oddish. It's not really, it's kind of lumpy right now because we haven't stuffed it. So I'm going to grab my polyfill and kind of just fill it up here. So I will be right back after I stuff this. Alright, I'm back, and so I've got it stuffed. So sometimes what I do when I get the stuffing, if I need help pushing it in, I just take the bottom of my hook, not the piece of the hook, but the other, and I just kind of push it in as I'm going. So we see we now will kind of form it. We've got it into a ball. So here is his body. Now you see that we've got this still kind of a hole here, so we'll need to finish that off. But here's what our finished little guy is going to look with. I cheated with the mouth because I'm not good at embroidering faces, so I put a little bit of felt, cut it out, and glued it on with some hot glue gun. The eyes I kind of stitched in there. So I'm going to grab my needle. And thread the end. And what I do is I just take and put it in and put it in and go around each stitch. Try not to grab the polyfill, but if you do and it comes out, just kind of push it back in. Okay, now that I went around, I kind of just pull it a little bit and it kind of closes it just a tad bit. So then what I like to do is I like to go ahead and put it in that first one and then just go straight across. And it kind of pulls it together. And then I put it in this one. It's hard to see the stitches here. Then I put it straight across. And I kind of pull it. Kind of getting it closed. I'm still learning at the closing piece, but I hope this helps some of the learners out there too. And then I just kind of sew it around. Kind of closing it up. I even put my needle through the stitches so it's not just underneath, so through the two. I don't know if you can see that. And once I got it to, I feel like it looks pretty decent as far as closed up and not too much of a hole there. I'll show you what I do. Okay, so the hole is closed. So now what I do is I take this extra stain just to make sure everything's secure, and I'll go in a stitch. And go through a couple stitches actually. And then to make sure it's not going to fall out, I go loop it and go back through, kind of giving it more of a secure. And sometimes I just do that up a few because I don't want it to fall apart. Alright, so I have finished him up, and now I am going to cut the tail. So now we've got the body of Oddish. I am going to add some eyes. So I'm going to take my black. I'm just going to cut off a little bit because you won't need too much. Gonna thread it. So we need to figure out about where we want its eyes. So just kind of find the best. I'm putting it down through the middle and bringing it through. You might have a little bit of time wiggling it through because of the polyfill, but once you get your spot, just pull it through, and then I'm going to go around that one stitch. And then I'm going to go another one, but this time I'm not going to pull it through down on the bottom. I am actually going to just kind of let it go across to the next eye. So I'll go across. Don't pull too hard because you don't want it to yank. Now you can make your eyes bigger or whatnot, but I'm just going to do 2 stitches for my eyes. And then I'm going to go on that same stitch at the bottom and bring it underneath and back up. Oops. So we've got 1, and now I'm going to do it again, and instead of bringing it back up, I'm going to come and take it back out on the bottom where we originally pushed the original yarn through. Okay, so we've got 2 little eyes, and now we've got these strings down at the bottom. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut off the excess, and we're just gonna tie a knot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the non-hook part of my hook and kind of just push that knot inwards. And you can trim all this stuff if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be that long of a tail. I'm just kind of, yeah, I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. Might take a little bit of playing to get it to wiggle through there, but and then I just kind of reform it, and we've got eyes. And then, like I said, for the mouth, I cheat and I use felt because I'm not quite sure how to do the mouth yet. But here is Oddish's head. Keep an eye out. I'm going to work on the legs and the leaves and attaching. So check back.